Alright everybody, welcome back to Sumeru. Today is finally the day. I am planning to at least get started on the Inversion of Genesis quest today. I want to say really quick, thank you all so much for bearing with me. Last time, I mentioned in the last episode that I've been dealing with some storms in my area. And I just really didn't want to risk accidentally losing power in the middle of recording Genesis and losing the whole quest last time. So last time we just did some exploration, we did some event things. And now, we're getting back to our main topic. The weather's been doing better. I am going to play it super safe though, so if things get dire again, I will pause and come back to this another day, but I'll edit it together so it looks like one video to you. I'm still hoping to get a regular 2-hour-long video for us for this episode. I'm so excited. I have to double check just to make sure I'm going to the right place. I spent so long trying to avoid the Sanctuary of Sarastana. To be going there deliberately is incredible. It doesn't feel real. Immediately brought in.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Right, from what I remember of the quest description, it says, we're walking to the sanctuary to ask Nahida about our sibling, and we overheard a conversation of some sort. This guy is yellow. Is that Vahimana? It sure is Vahimana. Etiology, knowledge, can dash out social sciences and history.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you?
Oh.
The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
I was going to say, isn't this guy dressed a little Inazuma? He looks like he's from Inazuma, doesn't he? The Tatara Suna mystery. Well, if you want some information, I happen to have a first-hand account I could share.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person?
Who's the mysterious person? Oh, so we're not talking about the present-day Tatara Suna that the Fatui were trying to break into, but rather old Tatara Suna?
I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Gosh, I know that there's some sort of history that happened at Tatara Suna around the beginning of the Forge, right? I'm trying to remember what it is exactly, but actually I might not be of much help here for you. Sorry, Akaba.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Well, does he want to make people read it? I'm sure his evaluation council has to read it.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma!
I'm already so excited because I know one person who's been messing around in Inazuma who's currently in Sumeru.
Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
Still, let's go listen in.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatara Suna mystery is all about.
Yes, let's. Gosh, I'm really racking my brain. Ah! I'm so excited. Trying to think about what I know about Tatara Suna besides, the part that we were involved with. Cleaning it up and all that. I swear, I heard or I read somewhere that something happened there way back in the day.
Everyone will...
I can't remember what it was.
Don't make any sense. I can't get them to make sense no matter what I do.
Oh, good luck. Nothing there. I'm sorry, did you just say what if Teyvat is flat? Argani.
Everyone will...
After I finish this essay, I'm gonna get out of Sumeru for a while. It's time for a change of scenery.
Fargani, what are you researching? Why is discrepancy always inevitable at this point of calculation? What are you calculating? Before I answer your question, let me ask you one. What do you think Teyvat is like? You don't have to respond, just think. And he's blue. He's blue. What's blue? That's the one that Layla's in, right? The stars and the heavens and whatnot? Ratawa hissed. Illumination. No. Illuminationism. Uh-huh. Are you researching whether there really is a celestial sphere? I have a revolutionary idea. If Tevat was round, that would explain a lot of things. Oh my goodness. Wait, don't tell me we're in the flat Tevat era and you're trying to prove that it's actually round. Ooh, is it? Why are there currents in oceans? Why would the sun and moon alternate rising? Why would there be changes in temperature? All that could be explained with the round Earth theory. Amazing. So what's the discrepancy? There's the rub. My theory is perfect, but the calculation of land surface just doesn't bear that out. Oh? I shouldn't have ditched math classes in school? It's all Vikram's fault? No, tell me more! Why blame him? That's because he asked me to skip classes with him. Whenever there was a class he found boring, he would grab me and have coffee in the downtown area. But that guy did surprisingly well in all the foundation courses. I suspect that he dragged me out of classes on purpose, while he studied by himself at night. Time passes so quickly. I didn't expect him to be a candidate for the next Grand Conservator now. I hope he gets elected so I can go around telling everyone that I skipped classes with the Grand Conservator back in the day. At least doesn't seem to be taking it too personally. But what's the calculation issue? Oh, I want to, like, help this guy out. Give him the,
What if Tevat is round?
Is it? I'm fascinated. Sorry, I forgot it. You've got to tell me your results, okay?
Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper.
Kabuki Mono?
If only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about her, this seems like the kind of thing she'd know about.
Ahem. You called? Oh, looking for me? If you're looking for the traveler, that's me.
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
I too would be doubtful of people walking up to me making this claim right after I verbally wondered where the traveler was, but look at Paimon. You can't fake Paimon.
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
If you don't believe me, I'll go.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma.
Uh-huh.
This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
No need to apologize. I'm sure I will hold up under any cross-referencing.
Oh, Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking.
No fault taken. Or no offense taken?
Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
That I would.
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
If this quest sends me to Tatarasuna, I would be delighted. But also, didn't we do a whole quest in there with that guy who wanted to make a movie? What was his name? Xavier? Sorry, I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all
This
started
giant
with
flower.
the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade.
Oh, why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound so familiar? Either there's a weapon named after this person, or this person was just mentioned in the Inazuma event. It sounds so familiar.
But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it.
Whoa.
And killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows.
And was he working out of Tatarasuna?
Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
Oh dear. I'm so excited for this quest.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This Kabuki Mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So after he left, interesting.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Also, who wrote down the account?
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Oh, congrats?
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out.
As if I wasn't hanging on every word already. Go on then.
It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the Government Records Office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago.
Okay.
Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Why does that sound so oh my god, how am I so rusty in my Inazuma lore? That sounds so familiar too. Niwa. I'm gonna check my notes. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I have anything in my notes about any of these names. I found it! I found it! Here I was about to say that I haven't really been keeping that many notes lately because there's just so much happening that I can't keep track of it all. But look! I must have this note from when I was still taking notes. Niwa disappeared. His son is adopted by the Kaidaharas. His so Niwa is the great-grandfather of Kazuha. Aha! So Niwa was in charge of Tatara Suna. And yeah, I have the rest of this note just says Tatara Suna notes about past incident. Oh my god, so I did hear something about this. Seems like my knowledge is still very incomplete though. I'm gonna see if I have anything more. Wow, some of these notes are fascinating. Most of these notes are just little scraps of things I wanted to keep track of when I first started playing. So they're very interesting to look back at now. But okay, so this is Kazuha's great-grandfather, who went missing apparently. Oh yeah, wait. Okay, his great-grandfather and his father? No, his grandfather and his father had the falling out. Or was his great-grandfather and his grandfather? Goodness. Man, Kazuha's family. Could it be?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
It just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
I sure have.
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art.
This guy is so excited to talk to more people who know a little bit about what he's talking about. Also funny, if I hadn't found that note, he would have just told me. Thank you.
Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the
Died in
details,
Gokuden
but
incident.
taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
Gee, I do wonder.
The Kaidahara clan?
So
just
Wada
summon
left out the biggest
Kazuha.
detail of all.
There's more?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
He's got me on the edge of my seat.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
I'm delighted to hear this. Where did they get that information?
A puppet?
And that's the face of someone who just realized which puppet it is, too. The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. It couldn't be her. The Kabukimono has to be the Balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in Tatara Suna?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
The person you're looking for is, like, behind you, give or take 50 meters. Glare at Paimon and hope she keeps her mouth shut. Sorry, Paimon, but right now, gotta keep this under wraps.
Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
Nice recovery.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
So are you reading an academic book or like a narrative book? Oh, The Isle of Darkling Clouds by Sawada. Extract 1. A man arrived into Tarasuna around 3 in the afternoon. From afar, he spied laborers walking along the mountain roads towards the factories, their shoes scuffing along the juddering stones. They walked like people convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract it from gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. The man barked cheerful— wait, this is supposed to be cheerful. The man barked cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character who stood half a head taller greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. "Do my eyes deceive me? Sir Miyazaki! I cannot think that the return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you." Miyazaki smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their journey, expression relaxed. "Why, Katsuragi, Inazuma is the realm of the almighty shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced?" "And what about the good news? There was some? Naturally." The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now the flames of a forge are unlike any other, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too, then, was the Flame Watcher an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working alongside the Watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Katsuragi and Miyazaki strode into the room did the Watcher turn. This Watcher was Niwa, armory officer and administrator of Tatarasuna. Born to the Niwa clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishan art. Isn't it more than that? But okay. Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement unto itself. This is super fun to analyze, to be honest, because you can see the way that the writer and his limited information has affected the narrator we're being delivered. Like, I don't trust this account at all, but it still is useful, you know? Because I'm fairly certain there were more than 3 pillars of the Ishin art, right? Well, I don't know. There were more than 3 families in the Raiden Gokuden, but I don't think they all practiced the Ishin art, did they? I thought the Ishin art was just the Kaedehara school. Miyazaki handed a well-bundled text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression and said, "It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan in the city do not think highly of our plan. Yet I still believe it to be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested." Niwa studied the text and nodded. "We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Kaedehara says yay or nay." Katsuragi frowned, and with a sigh he said, "Forging is a precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs, and still you seek improvement each day with terrifying drive. Ah, should my lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss." Niwa smiled, replying, "And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsuragi?" Katsuragi neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his 2 friends, and yet he could not think of any way to deflect, and so groused, "I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you." Just keeping track of the names here. Lord Nagamasa, the blade, and this is the servant who died, isn't he? Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand onto Katsuragi's palm, but just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps alight with the celerity of youth. The head that peeked in was round, and, in the light of the flames, looked like an oiled jewel. The young man placed some boxed food at the side, and, nodding, he prepared to leave. Katsuragi called out to him, "What about your share? Aren't you going to eat it?" The young man, upon hearing those words, found himself slightly at a loss. After a while, he answered, "Very well, I'll try it." "You are welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare, after all," Niwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. Extract 2. This is a long one. I think we're gonna have 3 or 4. 3. I'll try to read a little bit faster. The Kabuki Mono was by the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of darkness. The bands of twilight showed themselves not, for in their place did thunderclouds roil, rumbling the omens of a coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dusk bade the clouds to kneel upon the land, its supplication mirroring the Kabuki Mono, with knees bent and face pointed towards the waters. None passed that way, and none knew what he was waiting for in silence. That is a beautiful paragraph. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, until a black cloud suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the Kabuki Mono, bearing down upon him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his studying gaze was refined by time, he understood. This cloud had marked him from the very start. Outbound, a fishing boat drew near. The metaphor. The lights of its bow flickering in and out of sight beneath the falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the sea, stealing sight from the fishermen. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone that can deliver my boat upon safe tides?" Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its bereftness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the Kabuki Mono stood idle, slanting his head to study the grand wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed at the Kabuki Mono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite out of it. He turned this into a horror novel! Yet he did not, for the dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The Kabuki Mono stared at it blankly, like an awakened dreamer. When he returned to himself, the clouds had scattered, as if they had never been there at all. As for the ship, could it have been struck down by a storm? Who was to know? Not the Kabuki Mono. What on earth? Extract 3. Katsuragi rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord, things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there is no trace of him. And much time has passed since Sir Miyazaki left to seek aid, but he has yet to send us any missive. Look!" Mikoshi Nagamasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke then, his words heavy-laden. "I wish not to say such words, Katsuragi, but Sir Miyazaki may never return." Katsuragi peered past Nagamasa's broad, stiff shoulders, beyond the windows. The clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast and devour Tatarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why... Katsuragi recoiled as if struck. Yes, it was coming back to him now in drips and drabs. That was why they had to set out to seek aid. Miyazaki had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form then. Traveling from Tatarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no sign of his return. Then a second ship was sent, followed by a third, and a fourth. Till the Kabuki Mono himself had departed upon the tides, under foul skies and ominous fortunes. It had been Katsuragi who had brought him back and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet, the situation in Tatarasuna was severe. Even should they sacrifice more lives, it would have been worth it to gain assistance from Inazuma City. Niwa was gone, and none could find him. Afterward, Nagamasa led a search party into the mountains and the area around the furnace, all to no avail. Folk began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned to suspicion, and they wondered if he had fled, unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents. The people grew ever more suspicious, and Nagamasa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, though he only nicked the silken veil the intruder wore. For a moment they swayed, and then, like a marionette pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagamasa, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord?" Niwa, perhaps. Nagamasa bellowed in fury. You dare address Sir Niwa directly! Yet the figure parted like mist before his falling blade. Only to rematerialize beyond reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. Was it you who slew my people? Nagamasa howled and charged, held back only by Katsuragi's desperate grip. As his senses returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of this work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it is apparent that this is a novel of fantastical, colorful sensibilities born from an imagination well utilized. You don't say. So these dark clouds are killing people. Do you suppose the Isle of Darkling Clouds? Ah, I see. This is his interpretation of the... Oh god, what was it called? That dark energy. It has a name. I swear it has a name. The Tatarigami energy. Do you suppose that this is his interpretation of the Tatarigami energy from texts that alluded to it as being corruptive and all that?
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
You're kidding me. Another one? Ah! It's so long, too! Okay. A brief analysis of possible elements of historical importance in the Tatarasuna area. Details. This text... Is that the abstract? There's an abstract! Details. This text belongs to a series of works sponsored by the Vahumana's Veil Cutter project. It has yet to be numbered. Veil Cutter? As in, you know, piercing through the veil of mystery, or because that person who was wearing a veil. That was the story's version, maybe not something that happened in real life. Anyway, I would love to see the author Sawada, right? I would love to see his notes so we could compare what he sensationalized to the actual evidence he had in hand. Bayakaba. Abstract. The Tatarasuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired. Hence, this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from the available data. Glossary. Tatarasuna area, Raiden Gokunen, Mikoshi Nagamasa, Kabukimono. Oh, that's his mentor, Rumi. Introduction. This paper continues and expands upon the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumi, in his report on the happily hidden tales of Tatarasuna, and is intended to further this avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. I'm wondering which Raiden Shogun, though. Do you think it was A who knew how to forge blades, or do you think it was her sister? Maybe both of them? Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that do not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tatarasuna, which was a central pillar of the forging industry. There, the Mikoshi and Niwa clans, along with an eccentric puppet, serve as the 3 windows of insight we need to investigate the truth behind what happened. Body. Strange notes from the Tatarasuna area. Their contents are as follows. 1. Perhaps I overstep, but I think that Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of the name Mikoshi must eat at him. Also, Sir Katsuragi discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nazuchi Beach. That must be the Kabukimono word there, just translated for us. 2. The inspector bought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsuragi discussed matters of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. Would that be, well, vice armory officer? Is that Niwa? I thought he was just the officer in charge. 3. We at last made a single Nagamaki. We call it the Daitatara Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits. Nozomu was so taken by the beauty, he drew a picture, and he performed a sword dance with that wandering eccentric. 4. We could not find that eccentric. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsuragi. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own Nagamaki into the furnace's flame. Nozomu could not abide by that order and drew the completely melted weapon out of the furnace. He was horribly burnt. Who is Nozomu? He popped up earlier here. He really liked the sword. Nozomu. 5. Nozomu died that night. I dare say that while Sir Katsuragi may have committed malfeasance, it was out of the goodness of his heart. 6. Kinjiro hid the Nagamaki and Nozomu's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamasa is harsh, also knows right from wrong, but even so he's not amenable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, and I somehow... This is interesting. Still, I and some households of Tatarsuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother, Chiyo. Wait, Chiyo? And we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating the Dai Tatar Nagamasa with him and that joy of watching him. Wait a second, isn't Chiyo from the event that just happened? I'm looking this up because I just want to confirm that really quick. Yeah, that's Chiyo. That's totally Chiyo. She showed up in the animatic. Oh my gosh. I just looked up a picture of her. So this is one of her sons, because she had children, right? Plural? So this must be one of her sons. Oh my god. And it's Nagamasa? Oh no. Oh dear. Cleanse the stain of the name Mikoshi. I was intrigued initially by this. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. This sort of... Names are so important to me. I've mentioned this several times. It's interesting that even in this game that they have some sort of conception of names representing a person or a person delivering on their name, you know? It's basically saying here, it seems like, that the author believed that Nagamasa would be obsessed with purity because he was named so, you know? I don't know if the idea here is that the name that was picked out for him was a good one, that it fit his personality, or that he grew up with this name upon him, and so he grew up into somebody obsessed with purity, or, you know, if it's just a poetic coincidence. I don't know. I love that the names in this game are so deliberate. Since it's a game, you know, they have the option to pick the perfect name for every character, because they know exactly what that character is going to do and how they're going to act. Not like a parent just picking a name and hoping that it fits. They know it will fit, because that's how they design the characters. Anyways, I just love the names in this game. And it's interesting to see a little bit of in-world commentary on how a name reflects the holder, you know? Anyhow. Chiyo. Wow. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating the Dai Tatara Nagamasa with him, and that joy of watching the nameless eccentric perform that sword dance with Katsuragi. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal key into 3 parts, one for the inspector, one for the army officer, and one to be left in Tatarsuna itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspector nor the army officer could be found, and so I was so bold as to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chest in Tatarsuna. I need to check out what that weapon that I have is called. Because didn't we, like, explore Tatarsuna and then learn how to craft a weapon? Yikes. The 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tatarsuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be of good physical integrity, although they all look quite old, while the last one looks more recent. I believe that the first 6 notes and the last are of different time periods, though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified. That would make sense to me, though. The contents of the first 6 should also be related to each other, and the incidents mentioned are quite consistent with one another. Rumi once mentioned in the Happily Hidden Tales, hereafter known as Hidden Tales, that in the past, researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural histories of Tatarsuna and Inazuma. Though the place has fallen into some degree of disrepair since the Hidden Tales were written, things have improved since the time when I wrote my original article. Regardless, what used to be an area of major industry remains a place most inhospitable, and residents of Tatarsuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatarasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administered by Armory Officer Niwa, Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa. And Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa. Yet, the elders among the locals with deeper ties to the region also seemed to stress the fact that there were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai who are so very characteristic of Inazuma's folk histories. A very small number, however, mentioned the word puppet. It should be known that puppets are neither traditional nor common yokai in Inazuma. This fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually, the following pieces of information came to light. A puppet did once appear in Tatarasuna. Its visage was elegant, its apparel impeccable, and the way it dressed hid all the joint lines on its body. Joint lines. Oh. Okay, thinking about Catherine all of a sudden, sorry. If no one were to mention that it was a puppet, it was indeed a puppet, it would be hard to tell at all. Additionally, this puppet seemed to possess special joint lines that would fade with time. potentially even disappearing altogether, which would perhaps eventually make the puppet seem entirely human. Well, now I'm thinking about the Balladeer and Raiden Shogun. I want to go do the Raiden Shogun fight so I can check, you know? The name of the puppet was known to almost none. Some folk claimed to have spotted it appearing around Tatarasuna, while others mentioned encountering it in the central regions of the area. Some even claimed that it would frequent the beach. Tales spread of it standing beside the sea and gazing across the waters toward Inazuma City. What it was that the puppet was gazing at remains a mystery. The name was known to almost none, though. What was the name? As mentioned earlier, the 6 notes all document a certain nameless eccentric. The eccentric, which can also be read as kabukimono, is usually used in Inazuma to refer to a figure who dresses or behaves in a peculiar manner. It is understandable, therefore, why this character would have left such an impression. Should the people of Tatarasuna indeed have had a puppet in their midst incurring mass panic, it seemed like they got along to me. A good possibility considering the coexistence between yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very likely become a local resident. I think it's missing a word here. I think it should be, should the people of Tatarasuna indeed have had a puppet in their midst without incurring mass panic, a good possibility considering the coexistence between yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very likely become a local resident, right? Seems like they've adopted him. What is less well known is if the kabukimono was just another title for this puppet. Perhaps it was uniquely dressed to attract attention from its more special characteristics. A workable theory, but one that still lacks enough evidence to support it. Still, it can be retained as an analytical lens of sorts. So they're basically saying, if there was indeed a puppet, which it seems like there was because the residents have talked about it, was the puppet the kabukimono mentioned in these accounts, and they're saying it's possible. Not substantiated, but certainly possible. And useful for, figuring out what's going on here, to think of it that way. A list of individuals related to Tatarasuna has been compiled here based on historical documents from Inazuma. Starting from the administrators, the records are as follows. Armory Officer, Niwa. Full name, Niwa Hisahide. He was the inheritor of the Ishin art and successor to the Niwa clan. His family, along with the Akame and Kaedahara clans, were together known as the Ishin Sankatsu. So there were 3 families that practiced the Ishin art. But we know that he gets adopted by the Kaedahara clan before the Raiden Gokuden incident. So it seems that there were possibly more families that practiced swordsmithing. At least there were 3 that did the Ishin art alone. And then they ended up probably combining into 1, or 2 combined and the other one died off. I don't know yet. And then by the time the Raiden Gokuden incident rolled around, there were the 5 of different arts each. That's my guess right now. Records show that Niwa was a modest and intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talent in the administration of territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are unknown, but he was suspected to have left Tatarasuna with his family following the incident. Yeah, because he has a longer history after Tatarasuna. We've heard of him from Kazuha's stories, haven't we? Vice Army Officer Miyazaki. Full name Miyazaki Kaneo. He was Niwa's second in command. His origins are unknown, and he primarily assisted Niwa in forging and personnel management. He was of affable temperament and had many friends in the region, including one Mikoshi Nagamasa. Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa, the successor of the Mikoshi clan, adopted son to Oni warrior Mikoshi Chiyo, and the younger adopted brother to Mikoshi Michiro, also known as Iwakura the successor. With his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagamasa alone bore the family name, striving daily to wipe their shame from their history. Though the records state that Mikoshi Nagamasa was a stubborn figure, he was also noted to be a person of moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation, and specially requested special instruction from Miyazaki to further his capabilities. That's a repetitive word you've got there, specially and special. But don't worry about it, it's your first draft. However, after the famous blade Dai Tatara Nagamasa was forged, he used it to slay his subordinate Katsuragi for reasons unknown at present. Man, this poor family. Yeah, what happened? Subordinate Katsuragi. Katsuragi's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I have sorted through, I have yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikoshi's Nagama... Okay, I'm so sorry. You know where my brain is now? Assuming, if you will, assume with me. I feel like this is a pretty safe bet. That the puppet in this story is our dear Balladeer. If he really got along with these people, there's a very high chance that he remembers all of them and knows all of their identities and knows exactly what happened here. Now, getting that information out of him is like trying to pry open a steel trap, probably. Especially because if he was friends with them and then everything kind of melted down, he's probably pretty upset about it. And he's, you know, denying that he has any emotion, so he probably, definitely doesn't want to talk about this sort of thing. But if he was willing to talk about it, I'm not even a historian. I'm not even part of Vahumana, or, yeah, whatever school this is, yeah, Vahumana, but, like, the potential to figure out all these mysteries just by talking to him and him telling us the truth? Oh my god. I would lose my mind if I was in this world and I was given this mystery. And I knew I could just walk over there and ask him for the answers. Ah! Would he tell me? No! Wow, I am enjoying this. These are 2 giant pieces of text they gave us, but I am eating this up. Amazing. Okay. Despite all the materials I've sorted through, I've yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikoshi Nagamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick by his lore through thick and thin, to give his life in service if it was but asked of him. Kabuki Mono. Full name unknown. Background unknown. From the many sources I have compiled, oh my god. I can't wait for his banner to come back. I'm good. I'm fine. This is just pure distilled excitement coursing through my veins, and the knowledge that I'm going to have to wait like 9 months before the possibility even pops up again for me to wish for this guy. Anyway, the many sources I've compiled, combined with Rumi's personal observations, this character might have been the puppet mentioned in the rumors. The Kabukimono was a figure of fashionable grace and gentleness. According to the hidden tales, he was brought back to Tatarasuna by Katsuragi, and became a member of the community. When the Kabukimono first arrived in Tatarasuna, he knew nothing of cleaning, cooking, or any work of meticulous nature. The locals taught him their skills over time, showing him how to clean his attire, dance, and craft small trinkets. Records state that the Kabukimono was there when the Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, though his trail ends before Mikoshi Nagamasa slew Katsuragi. I believe that the Kabukimono was indeed the aforementioned puppet, and that he likely had a hand in Katsuragi's death. You know, I don't want to trick him into talking to us, because that seems cruel, because he clearly has a lot of emotions he needs to unpack about, like, his entire past. But there's a possibility we could get him to talk to us in order to clear his name. I don't think he killed Katsuragi. I bet he's really upset that Katsuragi died. And so... Because, okay, a thought I had before that one. He knew nothing of cleaning and cooking or any work of meticulous nature. And so, oh my god, I didn't even realize that they started using he, him. They were using it earlier. So we know at least that this figure was male. Gee, I wonder who it was. Anyway, so... It seems like this is early on in his life because he didn't really know how to do anything. So it seems like the people taught him how to do stuff. That's my guess. I'm trying to remember in the Balladeer's little cutscene that he showed us. His memories. He was talking about his betrayals. There was a blacksmith in one of them who had the same hair thing as Kazuha. So that's probably Niwa. What number was that? Number 1 was A. My mother, right? The second was the second the child? Because I remember there was a child. Was it the second or the third? It would make sense to me if it went A, Niwa, child. Because if he gets discarded by A, and that's basically his first memory, oof. That would explain why he then came to this community not knowing anything. Because he was basically just born. And then, after whatever happened here, he then meets the child, and that's the third betrayal. I'm just guessing it's that order, because it seems like he didn't know anything at this time. It seems like he was very young, relatively, at this time. And so I don't think he had a hand in Katsuragi's death. He's probably really upset about it, if I had to guess. Going off no evidence here, but if I had to guess. And so we might be able to get him to open up if we push that button. It would be really cruel of us, though. But it's a button that exists. I bet. It seems like the rest of this paper remains unfinished. One thing is for sure, though. A lot of thought was put into it. I loved these papers. Can I read them again?
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it.
I am curious about Sawada's sources on these mysterious forces, though, because we know that Tatarigami has been an issue quite a while, and it's because of the slain god, right? So that god was slain, presumably... Oh god, we know this date more concretely, but I think it was around, if not shortly after the Archon Wars. So, presumably that god's been dead at Tatarasuna for quite a while by the time these events happened, because that was around 400 years ago. So I bet the the Tatarigami energy could have a hand. Anyways, I just talked a lot. I'm gonna try to recover a little bit and let these guys chat.
Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
I'm sorry, what happened to sticking to facts? What did you just say? Yeah, what did you just say?
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Amazing. Yeah, that sounds more like a novel. Has this guy ever written an essay before?
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get.
Are you sure about that?
Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Well...
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
I love how the setup of this quest seems to be implying that we're about to go find the answers and then not tell these guys. That is hilarious. On one hand, you know, I am desperate for these answers. I'm sure they are too. I feel like I should share with them. I feel their pain. But on the other hand, it's not our story to spread around, you know? If we get told anything in confidence, probably we should keep it. The guy's been through enough betrayal. Anyways, I'll leave you to it. Bye.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Sure. What do you think, Paimon?
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the Balladeer, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh?
Why? Because he'd kill them?
After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Sure.
If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Oh? Oh? What? What's wrong? What do you mean? Is it a ghost? Is it a dream? Did you not see that?
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by over there.
Huh? He's just walking around? Nihiro, what's going on here?
The Balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
For some reason, it's so weird to see him with his hat again. Oh my god, what? You know, here I was thinking, I've been thinking, just as we've been going around through Sumeru, where is he now? What is he doing? You know, he was super injured, but he's also kind of a prisoner. So I was like, where could they be keeping him that's secret and super secure, but also allows him to heal? To be honest, my only thought was, Okay, well, I did think about Birmastan because that's a place I haven't seen what it looks like, so I don't know how secure it is, but I know it's a healing place. But my thought was she could be keeping him in the bubble where she was trapped. Because although I'm sure she wouldn't like doing that, Nihida is super practical. And if she's got a container right there that she knows can trap a god, and she needs to keep, you know, a godlike figure in place, well, she's got the equipment right there. So I was wondering if maybe he was stuck in her bubble in the sanctuary. But apparently he's just walking around? Surely not. Surely not. I was expected to see him standing right there. Hey, Nihida! Are you there? She's there! Nihida! What's going on? Running in. Oh, she seems happy. Everything's fine.
Paimon, there you are.
Hi, Nihida.
Nihida! Bad news. We just saw the Balladeer strolling around in public.
But you know, even more like Nihida, like, okay. I feel like it would be even more a Nihida move to let him walk around than it would be to trap him. I have no idea, like, how she could get him to agree to behave himself if she let him walk around. Like, what on earth could she have over him, or how could she trust him to keep his word?
Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Is she just... Oh my god! He's right there. Is she letting him walk around? Like, what? Oh my god.
Sure enough, you're here.
Sure enough, you're here. There he is. I'm so excited.
Hey! What are you doing in the sanctuary of Surastana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up?
Like, I could see him being put on house arrest in the sanctuary, but he was just walking around outside.
I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain.
Please do. I'm fascinated.
It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
You made a deal. What kind of deal? Is he a harbinger still? Did he defect? What's going on, Nihida?
A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What could she offer him that he wants so badly that he would agree to cooperate? She still has a gnosis, doesn't she? Because, the doctor only got one, right? No. She gave him one, and then she gave him the other for the other information that he gave her, didn't she? So if she didn't offer him a gnosis, what could she have possibly offered him? No, wait. Okay, new worry. I'm thinking about this. We know that things can be removed from Irminsul. We know what happens when things are removed from Irminsul. Is it possible to remove someone's memories? Maybe if because I'm thinking, I guess something she could have offered him is if he hates his past and everything that has happened to him, she could help him forget by removing those memories, maybe? But that doesn't seem like something Nihida would offer. Nihida, what did you
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise?
Oh,
or maybe
no.
killing me is all you can think about.
Oh, this poor... You poor soul. He's really in the thick of just negative self-hatred.
But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
He doesn't even know what she wants from him, huh? He doesn't trust her.
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nihida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Yes, she did. How do you feel about that?
So if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
He looks better, though. He looks a lot better. Considering last time we saw him, he was falling... I don't know how far that was, but quite far. He looks great. I'm not gonna kill you, man. That's what you want.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start.
Yeah.
Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Sorry, Nihida.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nihida. Don't let him trick you.
Honestly, she's probably trying to trick him into having like a healthier mindset or something. She's all about learning, right? Learning through the journey. Nihida, I adore you. Are you trying to fix this guy?
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us!
I'm not even offended by that or anything. She encourages people asking questions.
As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
I mean, she did make a deal with the doctor, so yeah, that tracks.
Well, I, for one, have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Exactly.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time.
That's interesting, actually. How did he know about that deal? Because I was going to say, he's able to use the fact that she's already upheld a deal with another Harbinger to believe that she will honor their deal, even though they are supposedly enemies. But how did he know about that deal? Because the doctor was presumably gone by the time he woke up, and I'm assuming that they can't, like, send messages to him. Unless he's got a secret cell phone we don't know about, but still. So then Nahida must have told him about the deal. And he believed her word that this event even happened? Well, maybe. Maybe she told him the information that she got from the doctor. And the Balladeer, being another Harbinger, was also privy to that information, so he could confirm this is only information a Harbinger could have known, which means that he must have told you, which means this deal must have happened. Intriguing.
The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position.
She says this right. Oh my god, the writing of this is so good. She says this right in front of him. And you think he'd probably be angered by these statements she's making. But by saying this in front of him and allowing him to be angry at her, she is showing to him exactly what she thinks of him. And so he doesn't have to wonder or suspect her of any duplicity. She's being entirely honest with him. And then on the other hand, look at how far away he's standing. He feels so separate from everyone else right now.
Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
You think they would kill him off to keep their secrets? I do.
Wait a second. Former? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore?
Wait a minute, former? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Oh gosh. So he tossed you out like trash. Just like his first quote-unquote betrayal. He probably did not enjoy that.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are.
Oh, buddy.
That's how it was between me and the Fatui. And also between each of the Harbingers.
I'm thinking about Child's story, and about how it said that he didn't quite fit in with the other Harbingers because they're all secretly dealing and making plans and all that, and he's very straightforward, wants to fight people. On the other hand, the Balladeer probably fit in quite well, didn't he? But also, he's been through so much. And it's really affected how he sees himself and he sees the world.
So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Really? What a crying shame. Seems like Vega has little to no sympathy at the moment.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
He needs to make himself useful again, so he's hoping to get some useful information out of this project, perhaps?
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
And it makes so much sense, too, because he was just talking about sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. And everything he's saying explains why he'd be so willing to team up with Nahida, who is supposedly, at one point, his enemy. You know, he just sees this as just, the next exchange of usefulness, I guess. Oh my god. I love his character.
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
But he recognizes the existence of friendship. There's cracks in your glass, my friend.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen listen to him!
Nahida, don't listen to Paimon!
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
First test. Hey, do you remember Tatarasuna? Well, actually, maybe we shouldn't come right out the gate with that because that was probably a little traumatic. Being one of his 3 main betrayals. Would it have been? I don't know exactly when it would have occurred relative to Tatarasuna. Anyways, moving on.
All
Moving
right. Then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
on. Oh, Nahida. I adore her.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
To be honest, I think it's a good call. Keeping him trapped would just make the situation worse and worse, you know?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
For me?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Did you ask him to track it down?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point.
I sure do remember that, yes.
It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect.
Ooh. Kind of like Nahida does, or like one of the scholars who has reached that certain stage has.
The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me.
So we need more hands on deck? Is that the idea?
So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
What if he lies to you?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
And also you can see now why he's willing to do this, because if he can find information about the Descenders that the Fatui don't have, that would make him useful to them once again.
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns.
Oh.
As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Thank you, Nahida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. It seems like we have a telepathic connection.
Our fates are intertwined, perhaps.
In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned.
Does that mean we get to go to Irminsul?
Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Got it. I'm glad to be able to help.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Nahida.
Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Super cool. Wow, we're just going to Irminsul?
Wow.
Wow.
It's pretty different here compared to last time.
Oh my god, we're just there.
Colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Wow. It really just looks like we're in a random valley in the forest. No map ability. It's beautiful. Hi, Irminsul. You still have a giant hole, but seemingly you're more happy? Where is he? There he is. Hey, buddy. I can't believe he just walked past
Look
us
at that.
earlier.
Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
The poses. These kids, oh my gosh. Nihida sent me to babysit you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
Paimon.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release, so maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Every single time we talk to this guy, it just escalates so quickly. Dude, we're just here to have like a picnic while you work. Don't mind us, okay?
Sounds like a successful rendezvous.
Nahida's really the chaperone for us all.
I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through.
That sounds so cool.
I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Understood.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all.
It's a little funny because I am obsessed with the Balladeer's character. I adore him. I think it's the character that the Traveler and Paimon and I are the most split on. Usually I agree with Vega and Paimon on basically everything, but unfortunately they really don't like this guy. It's really funny to me, but I guess I haven't had to live through him trying to kill me multiple times, and they have, so can't blame him.
Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Well, I'll do my best. I'm so curious to see if he fights anything. How does he fight? Does he use a catalyst? Does he use a sword like Raiden Shogun? Does he use a polearm? Like, does he use Electro? I'm so curious.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
Paimon, he's been wandering around for about 500 years. I don't know about you, but I may be that old, but I was sleeping for most of it, so he is more experienced than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
The subtext with this guy is so good.
Ew! Ugh. Snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
Me and Paimon having the exact opposite reaction. There's no need for all the biting sarcasm. Focus on doing your job.
We can start now.
What a cool shot. What a cool shot. The lighting. The way that it, like, vignettes around him.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
I feel like we're about to jump into a VR system. Oh,
Is this a small sapling?
is that a little sprout? A baby Nihida?
Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
There he goes. This is so cool. What's it going to look like? Inside Irminsul?
Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
It's different than what I imagined.
Ooh.
Wow.
Paimon's never seen anything like this.
Wow.
Feels like a sacred place.
It's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I would be really worried if somebody were to come in here with the intent to damage it. But I don't think you would. I think we're good for now. I love how the light on the ground almost looks like an aurora.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Tevat. Every bit of information flowing here means something.
Oh dear. He wants to mean something so bad.
Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
You say like you're not feeling small and insignificant before this tree yourself.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go.
This is so cool.
Stay close. Don't go running off.
Oh, I'm so tempted.
Hey, so, say we did go running off in here. What would happen?
Our minds would be immediately torn to shreds by the torrents of information, and we would lose all sense of our self-identity as we were assimilated into the collective knowledge of Teyvat. That's my guess. That's his answer.
What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost.
Okay. I would be very upset if Paimon were obliterated. Please don't tease me about that.
Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
You know what's fascinating? This room is so... It gives me technology vibes, which I love. Love the aesthetic. I haven't seen a single thing that looks like stars. I feel like that's pretty important. There he goes! Especially considering that, you know, all of fate is supposedly held in the stars. Everything that will happen. Presumably everything that has happened.
Sapling things have spread out.
The fragments have dissipated and the space seems to have been affected
Those are
somehow.
all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
So it's really interesting to me that there's no stars in here. I mean, there's these specks up there. But extrapolating from what's going on around us, they just look like more digital specks. Now that does kind of look like... You've ever seen those time lapses of meteor showers? Those lines going around? It does kind of look like that. Oh, interesting how it fades to black every
It looks
time.
the same in every direction.
So this space is indeed unusual, but it seems that the Balladeer is more accustomed to it than I, more comfortable with it than I. I didn't catch what it said.
No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh, what do you know? He was actually telling the truth.
Surprise, Paimon?
Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
Getting closer.
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
It's interesting because, so those trails that look like star trails or meteor trails, I almost thought they might be more of this light here. What happens if I try to walk? I'm not going to try to walk through. I'm just not going to. I respect Irminsul too much to try to do that. I almost thought it was more of this light just in the distance, but it really looks like something else on the boundaries of this place. Wow. Is that information going out? Are those ley line flares going up to the blossoms? I'm trying to see if there's anything related to the stars. I wish I could see these paths from a higher vantage point. Yeah, so far I'm not seeing many star vibes or moon vibes or sun vibes. Anything celestial, which feels important.
We're here.
We're here indeed. We've been here the whole time. Where are we?
What a huge tree!
Wow. It's so beautiful. I love how it's not symmetrical. It's got these little symbols, like, so there's the branches obviously, but I'm curious about these circular bits. There's 3 of them. There's one that looks like it's almost a closed circle. There's one that's a half circle with another inside of it, and there's one that's 2 half circles with a sphere. Do they correspond to anything? The one in the middle almost looks similar to the King Deshret eye. What are these supposed to mean? This is the center of Irminsul. All the information in the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
This is so cool.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
Are you gonna, like, go through his brain? What?
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
That's good. I'm so glad, actually. He hasn't put up any resistance, and he seems good at working on the front line. Maybe he had a similar role in the Fatui. First Akaba and Sawada's stories, now this. What a strange individual.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
He does cooperate very well when he wants to cooperate, doesn't he?
Will do.
But he's smiling. Are you planning something? He's been so non-suspicious this whole time that it's almost suspicious. Are you planning something? What are you up to?
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
For a split second there, the light around the tree at the base of it looked almost starry, but you know what it actually looks like? It looks like the fabric of Paimon's cape. With that sort of shimmering substrate with specks in it.
Traveler, Paimon.
Right there on the bottom right.
Like to talk?
It looks like Paimon's cloak. Her cloak's a lot darker, but even the colors seem to match. Nahida? Is this a telepathic conversation?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Hi, Paimon.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
I'm guessing that you don't want us to disturb the Balladeer?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
We're literally talking about him behind his back. That's really, literally right behind his back.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
This is true. Yes, and he seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand.
It's too true. I mean, he's been through a lot of torment, I suppose you could say. Just, he's gone through so much. And I think it's left him in a difficult spot where it's hard to process exactly all that's happened to him and how he feels about all of that. So even though he seems to have a very strong personality and very strong opinions, and you know, if he commits to a task, he will see it through, I get the feeling that he doesn't know himself very well, which is unfortunate. And I think probably what's leading to a lot of him finding himself in these repetitive cycles. Also, what a cool shot. But yeah, still some mysteries for him to resolve. Indeed. What else was I thinking about? I was just thinking about something. What were we just talking about? I don't remember. Oh, that's what it was. This is his story quest, isn't it? This is basically his story quest, I feel like. We've had story quests be part of our conquest, like Yoimiya's and Ayaka's, but I swear, this feels like a story quest.
Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
That would be nice. Is it about his past? The betrayals? And the other events in Inazuma?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Actually, I caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into Hypatia and Partis Di. You relate what you saw in the Balladeer's mind while in Partis Di.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
I'm pretty sure he's been hurt and angry this whole time, Paimon.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
And?
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Did you get it from the ley lines, Nahida? You tell Nahida about the story Akaba and Sawada are writing.
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
Well, I'm sure the previous essay from Rumi helped too.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, He guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
The slow pan over to the Balladeer, gently smirking. Gee.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
Feeling left out?
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Do you think you can feel it because we're literally in Irminsul?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
We have every right to keep certain things confidential. But see, this is probably why Nahida was so open in front of him before. The second he thinks that we're talking about him and he's not allowed to hear, he gets very defensive.
Of course
More closed
you do.
off to change.
You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
And he keeps seeing himself as a prisoner, which, like, technically, but also doesn't have to be. Anyways, moving on.
So, have you found anything yet?
Are we in the middle of his redemption arc? I so hope we're in the middle of his redemption arc. This is delightful.
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Every conversation with you is hard work. But your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage.
His dialogue is so well written.
Huh? Wait.
What you got? Hi, little sapling. It's so cute.
It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Anonymous data?
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Paimon, he's processing.
Shh. Just wait.
He shushed to the music. He even shushed to the music. Cutscene?
Mr. Niwa,
Oh
are
my
you
God.
certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
Oh my god. This will be interesting. Did we bring this forward? Did Nahida bring this forward intentionally?
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
So he's risking his life?
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Oh, he recognizes that name. Niwa was the man in charge at Tatarasuna. Plus, he belongs to the lineage of Ishin art.
Whoa!
Oh, here we go. Memory time.
I have been in Tatara Suna for
Who are
some
we?
time now.
That's
You
Niwa?
have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else.
So, if that's Niwa, and we've mentioned Nagamasa, then who is this guy? I don't think it's, Katsuragi. Must be someone else.
Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated.
Is this an NPC model with custom hair or something? He looks so different from all the others.
As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow.
Who is this, a Fatuus?
The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy.
Who are you?
Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
A businessman, perhaps? Almost looks like he's from Fontaine.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale.
Kame.
You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique.
This guy's not about to sue him for half of the profits, is he?
Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants,
Okay,
working
no, okay.
right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me.
Escher.
From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
Who is Escher? Why is he carrying a giant knife?
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I don't trust your voice.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate, and I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate.
Is this technology causing or enhancing the Tatarigami?
And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do.
Who on earth is Escher then?
None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
What is the Golden Feather, do you think? Oh, look at his eyes.
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
I can't believe I'm doing this right after that Inazuma event. Who is Escher? Is he corrupted by the Tatarigami and... but he's trying to produce more of it? Who is...
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine.
Is from
Are
Fontaine.
you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa,
The political
are you
struggle.
suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
He is a diplomat or a spy or some sort of industrial saboteur. The political struggle that they theorized about that they couldn't prove. Is that who you are? Is that what this is?
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem.
Cause yeah, there was that device that Xavier was talking about from Fontaine.
I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Gee, I wonder why.
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Oh, don't you dare stab him.
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Uh-huh. Oh, God. Niwa, why would you turn
Like this.
your back
Where
on
you finish
him?
talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
Buddy!
You...
Why would you have a conversation with a man you don't trust who has a giant butcher's knife strapped to him? There's swords on the wall. You could have just picked one up. Oh, no.
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all.
Oh?
And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Is he... This isn't... Okay, because I was going to think Fatui. If this was 400 years ago, the Fatui would still be a very new organization, right? They were founded after the events of 500 years ago. Very new, but they still could exist. Why did that just sound like the Doctor? We know that he makes clones of himself. Usually they still look like him, but this could be a disguise. Maybe he grew himself to look different for disguise purposes. Why did that just sound exactly like the Doctor?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person.
I knew it!
You may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay. Because remember when we saw his past? And we saw, it must have been this guy, Niwa, because he had brown hair and that red swoop, and he was like doing sword forging things. I think the Balladeer was even helping along in the background. And then when we saw the betrayal part of that period of his life, there was a bright light centered on his heart. My theory at the time was that this person that grew to be, you know, super important to him, his family even, rejected him when they learned that he was a puppet because he wasn't human and didn't have a heart. I was a little bit off. They accepted him for being a puppet, but said you were just missing a heart. And so was that image supposed to represent the heartbreak of this person, Niwa, dying? Or was it meant to represent that the Balladeer heard these words but took them poorly, thinking, just fixating on the part that says you're missing a heart, you're heartless? I don't know.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment.
Experiment? You say this is totally Il Dottore.
If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
It's literally him!
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
I feel like the Balladeer, if he's seeing this memory, is about to be very upset. I bet he didn't know about this.
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
My god.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
And that's crazy. That's oh my god, that's incredible. All this time, the proliferation of Tatarigami energy has been a consequence of Il Dottore's actions and experiments.
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate.
Oh no.
So give in to your fury.
What?
I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Wait, what? This was all for an experiment on the Balladeer? And also to create a minor inconvenience for your nation. Well, is the Balladeer supposed to be the inconvenience? I'm sorry, is he? Oh my god. Because what I'm immediately picturing is that he's going to carve out Niwa's heart and put it inside the Balladeer. And that could explain that image that we saw in the Balladeer's backstory memory thing. Oh god. And here I was, starting to suspect, oh, do you think the Balladeer has been tainted by Tatarigami energy this whole time? I feel like that wouldn't be enough to excuse his actions by any degree of No, maybe a heart? Please don't tell me he succeeded in putting a heart.
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
And you can really see why the Balladeer grew to conceptualize human relationships in the way that he did if he's grown up pretty much around people like this. People only use each other, huh? And only use people who aren't people. I would say hang in there, Niwa, but we know what happens.
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us.
Oh, he's absolutely not going to deliver that message, but the fact that he tried so hard just to say these words, they were recorded in Irminsul, and 400 years later, I think he's now hearing them.
He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
And once those words... Oh no! Once those words settle into his consciousness, he'll want to stop being a person who thinks like that. Oh my god, because then he'll be like the doctor who killed Niwa. Oh my god.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself.
Huh?
Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat.
He's such a good villain.
I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible.
Oh my god, it feels so icky to think that he's been with the Fatui as a harbinger all this time, and El Dottore has probably been watching him all this time, laughing, thinking of the hand that he had and him turning out the way that he has. Basically mocking him for not being able to, quote-unquote, develop a human heart, shall we say. Oh my god. Man, if I was the Balladeer, I would feel very betrayed at this moment.
Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity.
Oh my god. What are you fuming about? There he goes. How did you disguise yourself like that? Was that an illusion? How did he do that?
Jester, I have completed
Jester?
the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was.
And if he's reporting right now, do the Harbingers have some method of extra, like, long-distance communication? Can the Jester hear him right now? Is he doing this just to be dramatic, or is he doing this so that one of his other segments absorbs it through their hive mind and is able to tell the Jester? Oh my god.
I'd like to introduce a puppet to you.
It really feels like
If
he's
he proves
talking to him.
useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
He was practically recruited. Even worse than that. Oh my god. Oh, buddy. Sorry.
Hey, are you alright?
Is he crying?
Dottore. Dottore!
Oh no. Oh, he's having a total breakdown. Oh no.
Good. Good.
Are you reclaiming yourself? Are you... I don't know what'll happen if we... in the middle of Irminsul.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
I'm afraid so. He was the one behind the Tatarasuna incident.
But why did we see things from his perspective?
Because he's the only one who made it out of that situation alive, I guess. His memory survived. But, like... What about... what is his name? The son of Chio and his servant that he killed. Why did that happen? Just Tataragami energy, do you think?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Did that pop up because we asked Nahida what she knew about Tatarasuna? Oh my god.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Oh no.
Does it?
Are you sure?
But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace.
Oh my god.
You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
This betrayal was a lie that he believed for hundreds of years. Was this part of the doctor's experiment? If the betrayal never happened, it existed only in his imagination. But where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Okay, let's go over there. Don't wander too far.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Yeah, I think that's something he really hasn't had a lot of in his past. Just time to process.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
So many reasons, Paimon.
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future.
And, I mean, he did an excellent job. He sure caused several disasters with those moves. Oh my god.
Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the Balladeer became the main test subject.
And then they used the feelings of betrayal that resulted to manipulate him into working for them for 400 years! Maybe I'm the one who needs time to process my emotions.
After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the Balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process.
He put the heart in the thing?
what he expected, but the Balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me."
It protected
What's
him.
in it?
What did he say?
The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants.
No! 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 That's horrible! No wonder he switched around to trying to resist having a heart. Oh my god.
The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke.
Yeah, no wonder they didn't show this part. That's a little sick and twisted and graphic.
The Balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth.
Because it was Niwa's heart. And I'm sure that it was so strong, not just because he wanted to protect him. He knew that the doctor was going to send him in his place. But he wanted to protect everyone in Tatarasuna. He was going to go in himself, regardless. Oh my god.
He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the Balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Oh, that poor heart. And no wonder that picture in his little mental flashback thing from Partis DI, no wonder it had that flare on his heart. Here I thought it was just some sort of imagery thing about, oh, you're not a human, you're a puppet, you don't have a heart. Oh, it's much worse. It's much worse, actually.
Holy moly.
Yeah, you said it,
The
Paimon.
doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Oh my god. Being betrayed and abandoned by a close friend is sure to cause great resentment. Now we know what was behind his decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden 100 years ago. No, wait! No, wait! Even after all that, he spared Kazuha's... what was it, grandfather? Because he was Niwa's son? He spared Kazuha's somebody because they were descended from Niwa. Even after all of that? But it doesn't mean that vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Oh my god, this is incredible.
Tottori, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
I think the Balladeer should be allowed to curse. As a treat. Oh, that was such a good delivery. Oh my god. I'm losing my mind. A while later? Can you give me a while?
Shall we see how he's doing?
Bro. What is life? This is so well written, are you kidding me? I was not expecting this. And to think, I think I probably spent like 40 minutes reading that essay in that book earlier. I like to read stuff. I like to analyze. I was having a great time. To think, if I had just sped read through those, this would have happened like 10, 15 minutes into this quest. Oh my god. They're really not pulling any punches.
Hey, you alright?
Yeah. Are you alright? How are you feeling? Oh, his walls are back up. But hopefully a step in the right direction?
That's a scary expression.
I think it's good. If it's good, you know?
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
Yes, you're my friend. I know you're desperate for friends. We can be friends. But I guess we just want to make sure this doesn't affect the plan.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Good. Right back to work. Oh my god.
Hey, aren't you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
Do you think he's just gonna go rogue, which he has done in the past, and look into his own past now? Honestly, he deserves it. He should.
That's why we're here.
Unfortunately, I don't think he sees himself as deserving of
But
knowing
unfortunately, there's
enough.
no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
But what about my brother?
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Tevat.
But then what about my brother? Why wasn't he counted as a Descender?
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Not unexpected, but still. Thank you.
Don't thank me just yet.
You did what you said you'd do. You held your end of the bargain.
You look really upset.
This
Well,
pleases him.
Since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Oh?
Huh? About what?
I'm intrigued.
The reason why there are records about your brother in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was his first destination when he arrived in this world.
So there are records about my brother, just not Descenders. I was looking for information on my brother, though. You couldn't have just taken a peek? Okay. Conria was his first destination. So, does that mean he arrived in Conria, or he went to Conria immediately? The first destination makes me think that he had to travel there.
Plus, he only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
That's gorgeous. What on earth does that mean? Oh, whoa. It's spinning down. Oh, there it goes back up. The heavens responded to the summoning? What summoning?
The heavens responded?
He only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning. What about, why did I come to this world then? Was I not responding to a summoning? Were we summoned?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conrad and lived with your brother for a time.
What? 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 The Jester, another Fatui Harbinger. Why?
I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this.
Why not, honestly? Why wouldn't you lie to me? Do you, I would say maybe he wouldn't lie to me about this because he thinks it will cause me torment, and he's enjoying that. But that doesn't quite align with where I think he is mentally at the moment. Or is he not lying to us about this because he doesn't want to die? And he thinks that will kill him?
Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
It's because Nahida's watching?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Astonishing news! Breaking news! I haven't learned anything except the Jester. Did he say the first? Did he say he's the first Harbinger? No. He just said that he was a royal mage in Conria. Oh my god. And lived with so my brother lived there for a while. So we know he's a Harbinger, we just don't know what number he is necessarily. We were talking about this on stream the other day.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Yes, you are valuable. You have a purpose. Even if you don't have information for us. But yes, also this info was very helpful, thank you.
Very valuable.
He's smiling!
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
You know what? Honestly, deserved. If you want some time to investigate all these lies you've been told, be my guest. Ooh, Bubble.
What have you done?
Or is he just cutting off Nahida?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long.
Okay, okay. I know this is music from Dvalin's Lair, but what song is it exactly? What is the song called? I'm actually going to look it up really quick, just bear with me. Because it keeps popping up in story quests. It's a good song, sure. But City of Wind and Idols. I'm looking it up on YouTube. It's a good song. But I'm wondering what the name is. Why does it keep showing up in story quests? Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm having a really hard time identifying what song it is because I'm having to play both songs at the same time. Because I can't stop the game from playing music while I'm trying to listen to the other music. But I'm wondering if it's, I mean, it's just... Okay, 2 of the songs from Dvalin's Nest are called Forlorn Child of Archaic Winds and Forsaken Child of Ancient Times. I don't know which one this song is, but it just shares a lot of refrains, or motifs at least, with both of them. So, that answers my question good enough for me for now. Moving on.
I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
What do you want to know?
Give me your hand.
Are we going into my mind now? You still don't feel like we're secluded enough from Nahida? He doesn't want me to lie to him. Oh.
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Oh. Hello. Are you trying to brainwash me?
No. I can't do anything like that anymore.
He could before?
All I can do is exchange a few words with you.
Oh, like Apatia.
So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
No! His face! Look at his face! Ow. Wait. Why would you ask that?
Done.
He didn't even need me to answer. He was reading my mind. He knew my answer even though I didn't say it.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Oh, that was smooth.
Nothing. I was just thanking her for helping me.
What did you learn? What did I tell you? Is it possible to change the past? I mean, I want to say no, but... Is it possible? Wait. Wait. Oh my god. Here's my first 2 thoughts. 1, time travel. I love time travel. I love time loops. We know this, of course. 2, there's a difference between changing the past, like literally going back in time and changing things, versus changing what is known of the past. That basically just happened to him, because he had one version of events that he believed to be the truth. He believed that that was his past, that was his lived experience for 400 years, and now he's learned that the past was not what he thought it was. So effectively, the past has been changed for him. So, I was trying to think, is there any places in this game where we've seen the past be changed like that? Besides this story quest, I'm counting this as a story quest at this point, which is an excellent example, because it just happened to him with the memory he saw, and it was kind of happening earlier with Sawada and Akaba, who are both writing stories basically about the past that are interpreting it, but they will be changing the perception of the past for the future people who read it. Anyway, so on and so forth. You know, remember how way back at the beginning I was wondering what Nahida could have offered him? And I thought, you know, maybe she could erase his memories. I don't think we're going to go in that direction. Thank goodness. Nahida seems to be the type, you know, she wants you to continue your journey, not lose it. Oh god, just remember. And that's what happened. I don't think she's going to remove his memories. But maybe he could remove his own. Because you remember what happened to Nahida? She forgot the past, essentially. Because we effectively changed the past. I've been thinking about it a little bit, not at length, but I think I just came to my conclusion now. I've been thinking about it, when we erased, or when Greater Lord Rukkhadevata erased herself, did she literally change what had occurred in the past? So Nihida was the only Dendro Archon that ever existed from the perspective of, like, a third-party observer of time? Or did she just delete, like, knowledge of herself, basically? And I'm inclined to believe it's the second, because 1, we remember that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata still existed. 2, everyone and everything seems to have forgotten about her, and they substituted, they made up explanations for things that have happened. Like with Nihida's identity and where she came from. So I think Greater Lord Rukkhadevata still existed, people just forgot about her. So it's not literally changing the past, it's just changing people's perceptions of it. Which, in this case, for this young person, is basically all that he's after. Presumably. I think he's probably given up on any ideas of saving the people he's lost, or enacting vengeance on the people who wronged him back then but still exist, but don't exist anymore today. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a path of vengeance against the Doctor in the future, but hopefully a less self-destructive one. Like Nihida was saying, he needs to see that vengeance is not the path to go. D. Luke needs to talk to Nihida. Oh my god. Anyways, are you going to erase your own memories? That's my question right now. Wait, that look. Did he see me hesitate? But that was because I know about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. She was the— oh my god. He learned about it. Oh no. So he does know now. Uh-oh, I think—
So long.
Oh.
I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Come back. Uh-oh, I think by not denying it immediately, I gave him the answer he needed. Oh no, what is he going to do?
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Balladeer, stop! Paimon, we have to stop him.
Fast reaction
Oh,
time.
whoa!
But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again.
Oh no, wait! Is he just going to erase himself? Oh no. I just remembered that he's a very self-destructive individual. Oh dear. But he wanted to stay alive earlier. But he did kind of just get re-betrayed. But— oh no.
From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist.
There we go, okay. So he's erasing the Balladeer and the Kabukimono from history. Well, at least hopefully Dotori will forget about him. I want Dotori to forget about him. No matter what he does, I won't forget about him though, right? Because Outlander thing. Paimon will though. Nihida will though. If he erases those two terms, is he going to Rukkhadevata himself? I guess that makes— wait, that makes more sense than him just erasing his memories. That's not something we've seen. We've seen people be erased from the collective consciousness though. But Rukkhadevata disappeared when that happened. I guess that's because all that was left of her consciousness only existed within Irminsul, so when she removed herself from Irminsul, she disappeared. He doesn't only exist in except for in Irminsul right now. Well, he could leave Irminsul. Can he leave Irminsul and do this? Can he do this and then leave? Is he going to die? No, he can't die. He's playable. Right? This is the Hu Tao question all over again. No, he's gonna be fine. He's going to be fine. But if he erases those two names, will he get everything? He's still gonna kind of exist. What about Kunikuzushi? Isn't that his name from the Raiden incident? Or what he called himself, at least?
Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Oh, I don't think that's how it works. You aren't going to be erased from the past. People are just going to forget about you. Also, that's gorgeous. Oh my god. So that's what tipped the scales. Him wanting to give those people another chance, but that's not how it works.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are.
And how has that been working out for you, huh?
But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Oh no. No, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine though. But emotionally though, oh no.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he
Oh,
disappeared.
dear.
Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
Are we gonna be running around Irminsul looking for him? I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh, that's a cool shot though. Hi, Paimon.
Oh no, he's really gone.
Where did he go?
Oh, can you hear me?
Nihita! The Balladeer riddle. Do you remember him? Do you remember him?
Nihita!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer.
Oh, good.
What happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
Nihita, can you find him?
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
The metaphor. You tell Nihita everything that happened.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left.
Seems like he's a resourceful guy.
Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
I'm guessing it's the latter.
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nihita.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it.
I have my faiths in you, Nihita. You can do better than we can at this point.
We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
Lead the way. Oh, that was fast. Nihita. What is happening? Where are we?
We're out. And we're at, an inn or something?
Is this the second layer? Because remember, we went through the pink tree layer and then the blue tree layer. Are we on the pink tree layer? The realm of consciousness, wasn't it? At least we got to the realm of consciousness from that point. Or no, we got to that point from the realm of consciousness. They could be connected. We could be in the realm of consciousness. The other option is that by erasing himself, he did change the past. I don't think that would work like this, though.
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now.
It's my room!
Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you.
No, I want to help you! Isn't there anything I can do?
I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
Maybe it's best if she handles things. If she does find him, we tend to, as mentioned, escalate tensions very quickly whenever we encounter each other. That's not really what he needs at the moment. Okay.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nihita, will you be okay?
How on earth did you teleport us back to our room? Also, confirmation. We have a room in an inn. That's what it is. Oh, maybe because we were in Irminsul, she was able to extract us just somewhere else because Irminsul is connected, presumably, to everywhere in this world, right? So, or at least everywhere in Teyvat. So then, maybe that's how she was able to just plop us somewhere else.
Don't worry.
Like a ley line blossom popping up.
My assessment is correct. Though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
This quest is amazing. This is how you do an interlude quest. This is how you do an interlude, I swear.
Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
I think we gave him the answer he wanted. Paimon doesn't remember Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and neither does Nihita, so she doesn't know what he's planning. The Balladeer's question was a strange one. It's hard to explain in full, and the truth might be very distressing for Paimon. I'll skip the part about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata for now and focus on the Balladeer. You tell Paimon about what the Balladeer asked you and what he might have been planning.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible!
It's not easy, that's for sure. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Really quick, I had a thought. The 5 stages of grief, according to Wikipedia. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I think he's in bargaining right now. Yeah, I think he's in bargaining right now. That's just the thought that I had. It's not easy, that's for sure.
Right! You can't just just rewrite history.
Well,
All that stuff happened already in real life.
I think you can rewrite history. I think you can't rewrite time, if you know what I mean.
It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
Yeah, great example. He'll remember. And even if Paimon was able to make everyone forget that she drank it, the water would still be gone.
So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do.
How do you think he'll react when he realized it didn't work? You know?
Ooh, Paimon's so confused.
Maybe he wants to erase himself from history. That's what I'm thinking.
Huh?
Oh, are you okay? Paimon, are you okay?
Sorry, Paimon accidentally... It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress.
I'm having a delightful time. I'm sorry, Paimon.
But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul?
But it makes so much sense. I was thinking he was going to try to find a way to erase his memory, maybe. But of course he wouldn't do that. It would leave him feeling too vulnerable. And it's not self-destructive enough for his tastes. He wants to erase himself from history. I think he's hoping that he'll go along with everyone's memory. He'll still be here. So, yeah, I'm really worried about what his reaction will be when he realizes he's still here. Not necessarily, but maybe. I'm just guessing here. We know it's possible because it's happened, but she doesn't know that. I'm gonna say I'm just guessing here because we're trying to keep this from her still.
Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working.
And what do you think will happen when he realizes that, you know, the people like Niwa were not brought back to life after he was taken from their stories?
Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him.
You might be about to forget all that, Paimon.
There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Indeed. If the Balladeer does erase himself from Irminsul, many people in Inazuma will be affected. I can't imagine what that situation would look like. Oh my god. The Raiden Gokuden incident without Kunikazushi. Just... I mean, if you want to think about what possible, like, bad consequences could be, if the people who remember that history forget about Kunikazushi, they'll start to look for a different culprit, or they'll assume that somebody else was a culprit. Could this possibly incite infighting among the Raiden Gokuden as they start to blame each other? Something like that, possibly? Or all those people who received, finally, not exactly forgiveness, but their names were cleared when people realized that there was indeed a saboteur. Their names won't be cleared anymore, that sort of thing. Worst case scenario, it will affect everyone with a connection to the Raiden Gokuden. Kazuha, Ayaka, Ayato. Will this mean that they'll disappear? No, history will still be there, right? Oh, I'm starting to doubt myself. I mean, history is still... I think it's right. Oh god, because history still exists after Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was erased from it. It's just that people thought Nahida did the things that she did, right? I just don't know if time itself was changed so that it was Nahida who did the things that she did. But the fact that we remember Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, it makes me think it's just a knowledge thing, not a real time thing. Oh my god! I don't know.
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next?
I was going to say, we don't have any empirical data on whether or not things appeared or disappeared. Because, like, for instance, the academia still exists, which Greater Lord Rukkhadevata helped found. Even though Greater Lord Rukkhadevata no longer has existed. It's like... I guess we'll find out if all of our friends just vanish. But, you know, they won't vanish just because he erases himself. They still exist whether or not he existed. Their family still existed. Everything will be fine.
Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
I feel like all this information was so clear before I started this quest. But this quest is just written so well, it's gotten me to question everything. It's delightful. Me neither.
So, how about, we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here.
Food even has failed Paimon. It's a dark day in Teyvat indeed.
Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers. Tea break pancakes. Cream stew. Sauteed matsutake.
I'm suddenly expecting it to just cut to black and then we hear an Akasha beep. That's how paranoid I am right now.
And Dragon chili chicken.
Who's watching us?
Tofu. Satisfying salad.
Why are we being watched? Why can't I see myself anymore? Am I dying?
Oh, also Adeptus Temptation, golden shrimp balls, triple layered
Am I
consommé,
passing out?
lotus seed and bird egg soup, and
Oh, he found it. He found it, didn't he? Good morning, Paimon. It's a new world out there. The thing is still broken. She's not going to remember breaking it. Because she blamed him for all the stress that he put her under. She's not going to remember breaking it. Do I remember anything? Paimon? What's wrong?
What are we...
Oh my god.
What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now?
And like, it would be one thing if Paimon suddenly forgot things. I think I would still remember. But the fact that we went through a whole night back today frightens me.
Paimon was...
Oh my god.
Talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
I remember. You were getting so worried about the situation with the Balladeer that you started listing foods. If she says, who? I don't know what I'll do. Paimon, you're my best friend. You have to remember all the people that I remember.
The Balladeer?
Paimon.
Is that a
No.
too? Huh. Weird name, though.
He did it! He succeeded! I mean, it's one thing to be alone, remembering Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, who didn't really, in the long run, mean all that much to the Traveler, but being alone and remembering the Balladeer, who has popped up so many times across our journey? Oh. Yeah! Paimon doesn't remember the Balladeer? That must mean he actually pulled it off? But how did he have that ability? This doesn't make sense. And that was the other thing too. I mean, I didn't mention this earlier because it's such a small note, but this seems like a very, very delicate process. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was able to do it because she was part of Irminsul, you know? Same as Nahida. So, Paimon was saying, you know, I have a bad feeling about all this. Besides what the consequences of this action might be, if he messes other things up in Irminsul just trying to do it, you know, kind of a bull in the china shop type image where he doesn't really know what he's doing, so even if he's careful, he might accidentally damage Irminsul some way. That was a concern. Vega's questioning that right now too. How did he have that ability? Did Nahida do it? Did she find him? Did she agree to do it for some reason? Because, like Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, she's a part of Irminsul.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said?
I mean, it seems like such a small issue. I thought it would either happen or it wouldn't happen. And it seems like now that Vega's bringing it back up, maybe secret third option, Nahida did it. No, it's nothing.
So, the Balladeer. Is that someone's name?
Oh my god.
'Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
Paimon! If this is really happening, I need to know what else has changed. Paimon, come with me.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I want to go back to Inazuma.
Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is Is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Now's not the time to explain. Let's get over there first. Checking to make sure everyone's alive. Good move. Also, wow, I feel like this might be the most concrete evidence I've ever seen. A dance of destruction? Amano Togo? Huh? The guy at the smithy? All I was gonna say was that this feels like the most confirmation we've ever gotten that teleportation exists in-game, because otherwise it would take us a while to sail to Inazuma, you know? Like, when we sailed there originally from Larua, it took us a while, and when we sailed to and from with Yoimiya, it took at least a day, I would say. A couple hours. If not a couple days, couple weeks. Like, I was picturing the travel from Inazuma to, or sorry, Larua to Inazuma would take months. So the fact that she's ready to just go to Inazuma instead of, like, talking to Nahida first, which seems like an easier option, really makes me feel like teleportation exists. Anyway. Unfortunately, we have to stop it there. We are at an hour, 2 hours, I don't know, 2 hours 20, something around there. Oh my god. This has got to be one of my favorite quests so far. I mean, okay, it's hard to beat the Sub-Zerius quest because I do love me a good old time loop. But that time loop did also jeopardize the life of our dear friend Dunyarzad, so this one does kind of give it a run for its money. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here. Is that thing gonna be on the floor forever? I kind of hope it is. Oh my god, this is incredible. Did he erase himself? He at least got some of himself. Did he get Kunikazushi too? Did you forget about Kunikazushi? That'd be kind of funny. What about the name? It was mentioned... Well, okay, to be fair, it was mentioned in secondhand sources. I think it was mentioned in the essay when it was discussing... Oh, what was his name? Kabukimono? Was that it? When it was discussing him as Kabukimono, it mentioned that there was a name that the people of Tatarasuna knew him by, but that name has been lost. They couldn't find any records of it. So, are they just conjecturing that he had a name at that point? Or did he really have a name at that point? And if so, did he remember to erase that name? Oh my god. This is incredible. I love this so much. I can't wait to keep going, but I'm gonna have to wait to keep going. I'm gonna have to wait so many days to keep going. Oh my god. I love this quest. I love this game. Anyways, just in time, my ending song is starting, so I'm gonna try to go with it. Thank you all so much for watching. This one has been such a ride, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I want to thank our patrons, Jay Blakewood, Conosard, Power of Chaos, Mary, Edu, and some anonymous patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the videos and supporting the channel so that I get to do stuff like this. This is amazing. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one, I hope. Bye now.